Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. And today we're back at my friend Bob's Movie Machines. What we're shooting today, oh yeah, we are about to get into the General Lee. Now, it's not a replica, it's not a recreation, it's not a clone. No knock against any of those, but this is one of the original 17 surviving General Lees from the TV show. And we're gonna get into all kinds of details about this. Bob and Chris are gonna talk us through the history of this car, and we're definitely gonna see a smoke show happen. So hold on, man, because here we go. All right, you guys, this is my friend Chris from Chrome Cars, Bob from Movie Machines.
Hey.
And Bob owned this car for about 25 years. Chris's company, Chrome Cars, bought it recently. So we're gonna find out why is this General Lee such an important one. So there was, what, a few hundred of these roughly, right, that were used throughout the history of the show.
There's different accounts, but they say about 320
right?
or so. And when the show ended in '85, there were 17 of these left in various states of use from how they finished the series.
Right.
A friend of mine was able to acquire them from Warner Brothers. We got them all at once in a big 2 semi-tractor load, and had it for 28 years.
Oh.
Long time. We restored this in 2005 when they were doing the movie.
Right.
The motor was rebuilt, and as much as we could keep original, we did. So it's a faithful representation of how the car looked when the show ended.
Yeah.
This particular one was used in the last 3 seasons, and because of the 440 motor, it was mainly for burnouts and high-speed driving. And
Right, but it wasn't jumped.
no, it would have destroyed the car.
Right.
They didn't like jumping the big blocks because they were too heavy. You'd have to put so much ballast weight in the trunk that when they hit the ground, a lot of times the cars would just kind of collapse.
Yeah. So it's the only surviving 440 RT car, correct?
Yeah, original RT, which is why Chris wanted it.
Oh yeah, so bad.
I've heard you guys say that this is the most important one of those cars. Is it because it's a 440 RT?
I would say so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other cars were just like 383 or whatever kind of engines they used, but having like the true RT of them all, like the last remaining, that's pretty important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this thing, like I know when we pop the hood, it's different color underneath.
Yeah, I mean, at the time when they were making these for the show, they just grabbed Chargers off the street left and right.
Right.
They used 68s and put the 69 taillights in front end. They just got the cheapest thing they could get, and they'd slap orange paint over it and expect it to last one take, one jump.
Right.
What was it, $1,600?
Yeah.
Each car?
That was the initial budget for
Yeah.
each car.
By the way, you guys, that's including the purchase price of the car.
Oh, yeah.
To buy the car and get it ready for the show was about $1,600.
Well, remember, you're talking 78, 79 when it all
Right,
started.
yeah.
Right.
The car's 10 years old. They were throwaway at the time. Nobody really
Right,
thought
right.
of the value and what they become in the Fast and Furious series and other
Right.
movies, Bullet and all that kind of stuff. So they weren't a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be just like today buying a used, Cavalier or something. So
Yeah.
it was relatively cheap. They actually wanted to use Chevelles, and the Chevelles cost more. They couldn't keep them in the budget.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they went with the Charger.
Thank
And this
God.
one was a T5 copper metallic. And the motor was out of a later model 72 440, so it's not the original motor to this car, but this car was a 440 RT.
Got it.
We don't know where it came from. Might have come out of a cop car, might have come before they bought it. We don't know, but
Right.
that's why it's painted blue like the 72s were.
Yeah.
And everything when this was redone was to keep it as authentic for that period as we could without, you can take any Charger and make this look perfect,
Sure.
but then that's not how it was used, and that's what
No,
the
that's
fans
the
want to see.
beauty of this car, seeing like the paint looks horrible. You see
Rough.
ripples in the body. I mean, it's rough. Like you can tell this is
Yeah.
it's a picture car. It's not a
Yeah,
restored.
and think of the story, the show.
Sure.
It was about bootlegging. That's how it originally came about.
Right.
And then it was good old boys in the South,
Right.
running around with their cousin and raising, hell. So
Right.
the car would hit this or slam into that or kick
Sure.
up rocks or bump
Right.
into somebody.
Hood
That's what
sliding.
it's
Right.
for. Yeah.
Now, I like your story about this you were telling me about.
Yeah, the
The
bumper.
bumper.
Yeah.
Originally, in the first 3 seasons, they used a smaller push bar.
Right.
So this bumper on here
See
has
these
the
marks here,
original
you guys?
weld marks.
That's from the
first 3
original
seasons.
push bar. It was smaller than this.
Right, so what it means is when they went to a larger one, I don't know why, most of these were made out of muffler pipe and just simple, you know, welded together stuff.
Right.
When they went to the bigger one, this car came late in the series, the last 3 seasons. It wouldn't have had that bumper. All it means is parts were recycled as the series went on, because they
Sure.
had 300 cars they wrecked. They got a pile of bumpers and steering wheels and, you know, whatever you can imagine to keep putting the cars together so
Yeah.
they survive.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just an interesting tidbit that this one had an original older style bumper.
Is the cage visible in the show?
Oh yeah.
It is. Okay. I couldn't
was,
remember
yeah.
if it was.
That was one of the things that you never saw on
Nope.
a TV car, was
Right.
to have it caged.
Right.
And the whole idea of jumping in through the window was a NASCAR look, which of course these doors always were.
Right.
That was just
Right.
being cool. Pretending they were.
So
well-
which one of us is doing the hood slide, by the way?
Oh, not me. Not me. I'm too heavy, bro.
Not me.
I'm too heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, with any movie car, your best validation of it is good paperwork.
Yeah.
Because people are savvy and smart enough to look through the digital frame and figure out exactly
Yeah.
every little thing to make it, you know,
Perfect.
a replica
Right.
of it. So having great paperwork, having the details of how this was marked to make sure that it's authentic is
Yeah.
all part of the lore of it that makes it so special.
Yeah. Okay.
And we got that paperwork. So
Yeah.
Yes,
by the way.
Of course you do. Of course you do. I noticed it has disc fronts.
Yeah, and the 69s had disc front.
They did.
DRT,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's a drum rear.
Yes.
What's the exhaust again? Because it's making some pretty good rumble. It sounds
Yeah.
really good.
Even when the exhaust, which was rotten, had to be replaced, we replaced it the same style of what it had. It had glass pack bullet type mufflers. So I
Okay.
used Dynamax race mufflers, short bullets.
Okay.
And they exit right by in front of the rear axle.
Right.
So it just rumbles so deep.
It rumbles
Yeah,
really
because it's pounding against the pavement.
Yeah.
Well, I always think of, Chris, why is it so important, or why did you in Germany, did you see the show?
Sure.
How did you know the fanfare of this? Because
We
it's
got-
a TV show in America.
Yeah, but we got all these shows in Germany as well, like the Knight Rider, like the A-Team.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, happening in Germany as well. And we're going wild as you guys. So it's that easy. So yeah, that was a big target to get one of these. And of course, who knows us knows that we're not really into replicas, only the real stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Not only with the movie cars, but all the other stuff just needs to be right. Needs
Yeah.
to have a certain value
Yeah.
and important stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the machine we wanted to have always.
Yeah.
It is rolling history.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. The couple times I've gotten in some of the cars between you guys, you know, or Dennis, you know, you've like the Ice Charger right here. I mean, you've seen that car doing what it does on screen, and to sit in it is such a, it's just such a cool experience.
It is.
You know, just driving this around the block, doing a little burnout, and I'm like, this is the Bo and Luke Duke car, man. I mean, that's, you know, it's just cool. It's such an important part of really American muscle car history. I mean, it helps to create what the Charger became. Time for big smoke and burnouts.
Oh yeah.
All right, you guys, this is the General Lee. This isn't a replica, you know, it's not a copy, it's not a tribute, it's not any of those things. This is from the TV series. I'm not gonna really get into the details right now. I'm more gonna geek out on the idea that I mean, this is really one of the cars, man. So I'm sitting where, you know, Bo and Luke Duke would be getting ready to catch air. I mean, it's just cool, you know. It's fun with the different friends I have, like, you know, Vehicle Effects over here, my friend Bob, and Movie Machines. That I get access to some of these cars we've seen, you know, in a lot of movies, or like this one, TV shows, right? You can feel it right away. And I've driven, you guys have seen, if you followed the channel at all, I've driven some pretty radical custom build Chargers. This is definitely not that. This is stock Charger for the most part. I mean, it's not 100% stock. It's got some exhaust. Mostly this car is about the generally, you know, the look of it. So it's still got leaf springs, and I think it's still got drum brakes in the rear. I noticed some pretty small old discs up front. Like you've heard me say before, I can't really, I mean, I shouldn't even be doing this. The car's not street legal. And the only reason it's not street legal is a paperwork thing. It's not registered currently. They never really needed to register the car. This thing was for the show, and then it, you know, sat for years in storage. So it's a paperwork thing. The Chrome Cars guys, I know them. They'll get it registered. They'll be street driving this car just like they do with their Eleanor and some of the other movie cars that they own. Wait, we gotta hit, where's the horn? Too funny, it's got the friggin' horn, man. All right, you guys, well, that's it for this incredibly cool piece of muscle car history. The General Lee, man. So thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we're up to over here. Truly do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. All right, man, later.